a really lovely sunny evening. Finished work. Now I'm going to have a quick potter around in the garden. So I thought I'd do a quick update, let you know guys know how we're getting on. We've started harvesting. It's been a really good harvest so far. So we've harvested the broad beans that we could. If you watch some of my other videos, you'll know we've had a problem with the pyralid weed killer residue in the compost. So I lost quite a few of my beans. We managed to harvest a few and actually got more beans than we were expecting, so that was a really good bonus. Harvested some peas, taken the first lot of peas off, and I'm going to harvest a few more this evening. So there's quite a few pods now ready to go. And our big success of this year so far is our broccoli, the Calabrese broccoli. Never grown it before, grown it this year, and it's been amazing success. In fact, so good it's probably going over really quickly, so need to harvest it up and get it in the freezer. So I'm in the market garden. You can probably see the beds behind me. So we've got the broccoli and the cabbage in the covered beds there. We've got potatoes growing nicely, we've got peas, we've got lettuce, we've got beetroot, we've got some courgettes. I've transplanted the celeriac, some of the celeriac into where the broad beans were. I've got onions behind there, I've got rainbow chard rather. Quite a lot going on in these beds. There's not much space, but I'm just packing as much in as I can. And the nasturtiums, I've planted loads of nasturtiums, planted way too many, and they're just going bonkers. So they're going to have to be cut back at some point just to kind of bring them under control. But I'll start cracking on the broccoli and show you guys how they're doing. So this is the broccoli bed here. I've kept it covered with a micro fleece this year to keep the insects out, and it's worked really well. There's no butterflies in there at all. The only thing that we have found in there are some of the really tiny little green bugs, but they're not too bad. I'll take the covers off. Quite a bit of bindweed in here. I've been pulling it out as I'm going along, but with the bed being covered, it's difficult to get in weed that much. Wow, look at that. I am so impressed with how this has turned out. It's incredible. Some massive heads on here, so we need to fix those. So here are the broccoli plants. So there's the heads there. Look at that. That's incredible. Better than anything you'll get in Tesco's. I'll try and get the camera to pick it up. Just, another good one here. So there's and this one's massive, so it needs to be picked before it goes over. Right, so let's crack on. Blanch them and then pop them in the freezer. Look at that. Look at that. 8 heads of broccoli. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Brilliant. And I've already had 2 off there, and I gave 1 to a friend. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11 heads of broccoli. So that is absolutely superb. Really chuffed with that. So the next job is to harvest some more peas. So as you can see, we've got peas nicely fattening up here. So this will be the second picking on this. There's not many in here. We've had a few off here already, which we've just used in salads, to be perfectly honest. They're absolutely delicious raw, and by the time they get to putting in the freezer, there's not many left, so we just tend to eat them raw in salads. Let's see what this old looking one looks like. It's an old looking pod, but it is full of peas. It will fly in my ear. That's what they taste like. They're probably not tasting quite as sweet as some of the other ones. Let's chuck that over there. Compost pile. Yeah, a bit on the hard side. Not very sweet. But you know what? It's food I've grown from the garden. What more could you want? So here's the bed with the beetroot in it. So the beetroot is over there. We've got little gem lettuce here, which is doing really well. Picking it for leaves rather than this whole lettuce. It works really well that way. Last stages, just keeps coming and coming again. It's brilliant. A couple of small thyme plants here, which I've grown, doing all right. And as you can see, the nasturtiums are just going crazy. They've just gone bonkers in here. Really, obviously a good place for them. Probably too many and the wrong type, because these are the climbing type, so they're just sprawling all over the garden. But do you know what? They're absolutely lovely. I love seeing them. They just fill this space, and it just makes it look even more kind of garden-like. The bees love it. There's bees buzzing around here now. That's the flowers there. That's a red one. Yeah, so the beetroot is here. These lettuce here, these are just the standard all the year round lettuce. So you can see my camera, there we go, so I'll try not to get that shot. There we go. So these are the all year round lettuce. I don't know if you remember a video, I don't know how long ago it was now, 2 or 3 months ago now. Jacob and Rhea were in the greenhouse. They'd been left alone for sort of 10 minutes, and they'd filmed this whole entire section of Jacob just throwing his pack of seeds in, of lettuce seeds, not knowing what they really were and everything else. And well, we've got lettuce. So I've got some here, there's a couple back here, and there's a few more in the veggie patch further up in the garden. So I'll crack on pulling some beetroot. I'll pull 2 or 3 and I'll cook them off for tonight, and then we'll have those for dinner tomorrow. What I'll try and do is not disturb too much. So these are multi-sown, so what I tend to do is you can pull out, hopefully without disturbing the smaller ones, you just twist out the bigger ones. Nice big one there. Another decent-ish sized one here. These are the Cylindra variety. There's a couple of massive ones here, so I'll pull those 2 out together. And there's a tiny, tiny one in there which I'm going to have to sacrifice because it came out with it. So these are the Cylindra variety. Big ones there. What else have we got in here? Over there. Pull this nasturtium out of the way. We'll have to cut this back at some point, but not today. There's a big one. Oh, there's a lovely big one here. Get in there now. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll leave the rest of those in to bulk up a bit. Oh, I won't stand on too much. Oh, bashing the windmill. Actually, I might put that small one back in. Might bulk up a bit. We've got moles in here as well, which doesn't help with pushing things out. Yeah, I shall leave those. That's not bad harvest either. Good few roots. We've got, count them out, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 5 decent sized beets there. So I'll just chop the leaves off. You can eat these apparently, but it's not something I do. I just tend to chop them off and put them in the compost. But certainly cook down the beets. So I'll do that now. I can find my secateurs. There we go, that's the beetroot, peas and broccoli harvested. I don't think there's anything else down here that needs picking or harvesting at the moment, so I won't. So I think what I'll do now is I'll show you guys around how it's looking. So it's been a while since we started this project. It's been the end of January, I think we started putting the beds down. Really chuffed now with how things are going and the way things are progressing. We've had our first harvests, it's coming on really nicely. Apart from the broad beans, there's been no real failures, and I think it's just going to go from strength to strength. I'm really chuffed with it. So really now, just going to show you guys around. So as you come through the gate, actually what I'll do is I will go through the gate. So we go through the gate. Trespassers will be composted. So we come through the gate, and first of all, this is the work area, my little workbench. I am thinking of moving it, but it does mean moving quite a bit of stuff, so we'll see. So here's our harvest. So we have our peas and our beetroot and our broccoli and the obligatory can of beer. So swinging round, we'll come round here. So this is where the broad beans were. So I've pulled all these up and I've now planted celeriac. So I've got, I think, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 celeriac plants in here. I've got some more in the greenhouse which I'll probably plant a little later. Space behind for something else if I don't put the celeriac in there. There were red onions at the back which really haven't done anything. Some of them are bolted, some of them have been dug up, some of them are just looking quite sad, so I think I'm going to cut my losses with the red onions and pull them up so I can use the space. So they obviously weren't happy there. Next year I'll put them somewhere else. Seen this area already. So this is the beetroot. There is down the back here, there's a rogue tomato plant which I think is self-seeded from the compost, and there's an oregano plant being sort of swallowed up by the nasturtium, so I will cut that all back. Got some the lettuce as I just showed you. And the peas, coming past the peas. We've got the potatoes. So these are just leftover Pentland javelin. Just popped them in there to see how they would grow in the no-dig bed as an experiment, really. So they seem to be doing okay, although there are a few I can see sort of poking through the top, so they've gone green. We have courgette, so we've got yellow courgette here. There's even one little tiny yellow one poking out there, and there's another one just over there at the back. So I've got 2 yellow courgettes. Swinging around, got some onions. So these are multi-sown Ailsa Craig, I think. So they're multi-sown, so we'll see how they turn out. They're looking quite good, looking quite nice. Oh, bugs in my ear. That time of the year, that time of the evening. So we have the cabbage. I won't lift the covers on the cabbage just a moment. They're looking okay. Some of them are looking a bit not so sure. Others are looking really, really well. They're supposed to be the Sweetheart Greyhound. There's definitely a round, big ball round one in there. I wasn't entirely sure they would be ready, but some of them look like they are ready. So we have to investigate that at some point. The broccoli bed. It's a row of Swiss chard, the rainbow chard here. This bed is empty apart from the weeds. So I'm just going to clear that out, and there'll be some brassicas going in there. I've got some sprouting broccoli to go in and some Cavallonero, not all in this bed. So coming through into pen 2, we have the fruit cage. We've got currants on some of our currant bushes. I still haven't got round to putting the roof on, which I really, really, really must do. So that's a job for tomorrow or the weekend. But again, we've got currants on some of these bushes. I wasn't expecting any, so that's just a massive bonus. So really pleased with that. Not enough really to do anything with, but just enough to kind of be pleased that we've got something. Coming round the rhubarb. Oh, there I am. Hello. Rhubarb looking okay. It's still going strong. So we have here one of our sweet pea arches. I've got 2, but I never got around to putting the other one up. But I'll do that for next year. So we've got sweet peas climbing up, doing nicely, doing okay. There we go, sweet peas. And I've just sort of put in a couple of flower beds around them as well. So we've got some flowers growing in there sort of quite nicely, which is really good. So the idea here is to sort of fruit and flowers. So the flowers are here to encourage the bees and the pollinators in. And also just to make it look nice and pretty and not just vegetably. Strawberries, again really chuffed with the strawberries this year. The white ones we've had a real success with. Had a few off those, and the same with the red ones over there. So this is what will be the raspberry bed. Not really much in it apart from a few autumn raspberries, and again just some flowers and one or 2 leftover either herb plants or vegetable plants. There's some chard in here, there's some sage, there was something else, some garlic chives in the back there as well. So again, just a sort of a mixture of different things. There's some sunflowers at the back, which you can't see because of the weeds at the back. So we'll swing round, come round to the island bed, which is our wildflower bed. Which way is the sun? I'll go that way. So we've got these lovely blue flowers, really bright blue. It's gorgeous. It's really, really chuffed with the way these have come out. And these were just wildflower seeds. So there's some nice little yellow ones down there. My woodpecker. And my metal bird. Hello, metal bird. If you catch that in the, so you see it in the sky, that really does set it off. Love it. Fruit trees, not doing too great. 1 or 2 pears on the pear trees. Cherry trees not looking too sharp. There are about 2 cherries on it, and they've just been eaten by the birds, so we won't talk about those. We'll come round This is the grapevine bed. Again, I've got some grapevines on here too. Grapevines. So we've got this one here, which is a strawberry grape. Doing okay. Lots of leaf. So there's no flowers. I haven't seen any flowers on it. I'm not quite sure when they're supposed to flower. But again, it was dug up from the allotment this year, so if all it does is just produces some growth, lots of leaves, and kind of establishes itself, I'm really not bothered as long as it carries on growing. More sweet peas, and a few more flowers in here. There's another one, another grapevine there. I can't read the label of this one, but this one's really put on loads of growth. Doesn't look it, but it really has. It wasn't looking too clever down at the allotment, but it's looking really well now. Go through into the last pen. Actually, it's not the last pen. I say it's the last pen. I class the chickens as part of the market garden because they are producing things that we eat. So we got the squash bed. Earlier on the year we were worried that we'd lost our pumpkins. They've come back. We had a sort of a very warm spell, with a very light frost which kind of touched them, knocked them back a bit, but they've come back. Courgettes aren't doing too well, although I suspect it's got very warm and a bit of a lack of water, so I need to get the hose on here this evening just to give them a good soak. We've got butternut squash at the back, again looking a bit limp, they just need watering. And I've got some vegetable spaghetti squash here, and an Atlantic giant pumpkin, which is doing quite nicely. So swinging around to see the chooky chooks. We've got Mellow, she's off. She's doing a runner. So in the chicken pen, and there's Mellow. Our white one, she's broody for ages, but she now seems to, in the last couple of days, sort of bucked her ideas up and snapped out of it. Yeah, I know, I'm talking about you. We'll come round, they're all out. We've got Pearl, the little bantam, who really isn't that keen on people. Hermione, who is funny, she just comes up and says hello every time you come in here. And then there's Holly, it's just disappeared in there. So they're all doing really well. We've only gone down to 1 egg a day now. Oh, here comes Holly. Hello, Holly. Come on, say hello. Come on, say hello to camera. Yeah, we've got you, Mellow. Gotcha. Oh, camera's gone out of focus. There she is. She's looking a bit pale, but she has been broody for several weeks. I think she's lost a bit of condition. I also think they've started molting because there's a lot of feathers around. I'm going to say goodbye. Yeah, bye-bye. Well, cheers everyone. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed that little update. So we're really impressed and really chuffed with the way things are going. It's been a bit of a sort of an experiment really to see how things are going to go, and all in all it's worked really well. Really pleased with the harvests. And now you get to this time of year when you're managing to harvest stuff that you've grown in the garden is just fantastic. So I'll say cheerio until next time. Cheers for now.